Station Houston, are you ready for the event?
We are ready for the event.
WDRB-TV, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call ISS for a voice check.
Station, this is WDRB-TV. How do you hear me?
We have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Thank you. Expedition 44 flight engineers Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko are on board the International Space Station this morning. Scott, first of all, can you tell us what landmark or continent you are currently over?
Well, I can't tell you for sure. I was going to find out, but we got busy all of a sudden. Just looking at the window here, even though there's a window cover over it, just by the color of the Earth and how it shines in there, I would say probably somewhere over, the South Pacific, maybe Eastern Asia, but I'm not absolutely certain.
Oh, we just got word from Mission Control. You're right over central part of Australia. So, yes, the South Pacific is accurate.
Now, Scott, this question is for you. You shot a picture of Louisville, Kentucky from the space station on Derby Day, and you mentioned that you plan to watch the Kentucky Derby from space. Did you get a chance to see the Derby?
Yeah, we absolutely did. All 6 crew members that were here at the time got together. We set up the big screen and we watched the race live, actually, on their TV system we have. It was a very exciting day. Didn't get to see any of the other Triple Crown races because of timing and such, but we did watch the Kentucky Derby.
This question is for Mikhail. Our meteorologists let viewers know about space station sighting opportunities. What would you tell the people of Kentucky to think about when they see the station fly over?
I'd like them to think about our friendship on board the station. Very, very helpful, good work on board the station. And I think it's a very good example for our countries, for each countries, how we can cooperate and friends on board the station. It's a good example.
All right, for Scott, well, how long has it taken you to really get used to maneuvering and weightlessness, if you will, and can you please give us a demonstration?
Well, I've kind of felt like I picked up where I left off a little bit, and but you always get better at it. But, having had the experience of living up here for 159 days last time, I was in a pretty good spot. So, but the more time I stay here, the more comfortable I get. And I can't imagine how comfortable I'm going to be over 200 days from now. It's probably be pretty amazing level of adaptation.
I want to ask you about New Horizon. It's so far away, out in Pluto, flying past. What does that mean for us? What kind of things should we learn, and why should we be interested about what is happening so far away?
And 9 billion miles over 9 years. It's really amazing that our country could, launch a mission like that and for it to be successful. That's something I'm very proud of. It's very exciting. I think understanding Pluto and our solar system and those, that planetary body, which, the planet that is the only one, the United States hasn't sent a probe to so far, helps us to understand our origins in the universe and where we came from. And, I'm sure there's just an incredible amount of data that we're going to get. And, understanding about, our, part of, the universe and, things that we're not even expecting, like, all the stuff we learned with Hubble. Hubble's been a huge success. And, when we launched it, we had no idea exactly what we were going to learn. And, we just learned an incredible amount. So it's a very exciting time. And I really want to congratulate, all the people that worked on it. It's quite an impressive feat.
Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko, thank you both very much for joining us live from the International Space Station. And as you may remember, Scott Kelly is also part of an ongoing experiment with his twin brother here on Earth. Both are astronauts, and they are looking at the effects space has on the body. These gentlemen are going to be in the International Space Station for about a year, and we appreciate them joining us. And I've seen it 100 times, people demonstrating weightlessness, but it fascinates me no less each time I see it.
Especially knowing that we are talking to them live from our set, right here at WDRB in Louisville, Kentucky, to the International Space Station. For me, it's pretty neat, Candace.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the hotel executive.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the WDRB-TV portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from First Coast News.
Week today for a big one here. We've been telling you about it. We have an outstanding opportunity to speak with two astronauts aboard the International Space Station right now.
Right now, 250 miles up, flight engineer Scott Kelly, an American involved in some pretty amazing experience, as well as Russian Mikhail Kornienko, who's orbiting Earth right now. Now, we do obviously maybe need to state the obvious, Patty, that since they are far away, they are in outer space, we might be dealing with a bit of a delay as we talk to them, so I hope you'll bear with us when it comes to that. Also, our Russian friend will be speaking to us through a translator, so that, of course, could lend itself to a little bit of a delay as well. So just bear with us. Of course, we're talking to people in space, and it probably won't be that bad either. So, very exciting.
Okay, let's get things going.
Going there for sure. We're waiting. We're standby, awaiting transmission. Are we good to go, guys? Station, this is FCN. How do you hear me this morning?
We have you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
What an unbelievable opportunity for us. Guys, thank you for doing this morning. Good morning to you. First things first, how are you feeling at this point, Commander Kelly, as you're making your fourth month in space?
I feel pretty great, pretty good. We got up here about a little over 100 and something days ago. Not that I'm counting, but felt like I picked up just where I left off last time. My last flight was 159 days here. So, I feel pretty good. Got a lot of energy, excitement, enthusiasm. Have some new guys coming up next week, so that'll be great.
Well, you guys are both in space for about a year, 342 days. I know you're above New Zealand right now, which is pretty cool to think about. And Commander Kelly, you're part of an experiment with your twin brother, Mark, back on Earth to see what it's going to be like to be in space for this long. It's going to have a big impact on medical research. Talk about that and how the experiments are going.
Well, we were fortunate that NASA had a bunch of, previous data on my brother. They're very familiar with him. He had flown in space before. And it was going to be, somewhat serendipitous that at the end of this flight, I will have had about 10 times as much time in space than him. And we were identical twins. So because of that, our genetics were very, very similar, 99.9%, something like that, similar. And there are things from a genetic perspective that you can learn from using him as a control and me as an on-orbit human subject, how this environment, the radiation, the microgravity affects us on a genetic level, changes in our DNA, RNA, proteins, those kind of things that affect our health and our longevity. Now, granted, it's only one data point, so you can't draw very, specific conclusions, but you can learn things about, what types of investigations we need to continue to do. And so far, so good. The experiments, everything's been working great. We've got a lot of good data. I don't know any of the results of the data. Some of this, stuff takes a long time to be analyzed, but so far it's working great.
Scott, Mikhail, this will be for both of you. We got a viewer-submitted question we'd like to roll for you. If you could listen to that and kind of get both of your takes on this one here, if you don't mind. Go ahead.
I'm Hayden, and I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Astronaut, what do you eat? What do you drink?
I don't know if you heard Hayden there. He was talking at a very crowded museum, asking you guys, essentially, how are you dealing with being away from friendly for so long? I'll repeat that one for you. How does it feel, guys, being away, and how do you cope with that?
Well, I guess the question is, how do you deal with being away from friends and family? We have a lot of ways to communicate up here. We have email. We have a telephone. It's not available all the time, but probably about 75% of the time we can call anyone we want to call on Earth, as long as we have their phone number and they'll answer. And, the email, we have the capability to do video conferences. So it's pretty good. I think there are probably members of the military, in countries around the world, or other people that are on, deployments or, work-related things in remote environments that have a, less sophisticated capability. So that's how we keep in touch. Not easy being up here, isolated, but, it's understandable, and we get by.
Я согласен со Скоттом.
I agree with Scott fully. We have enough capabilities to be able to talk with our families, with our friends. Of course, it does help during our mission. But, of course, we are tasked with a very responsible assignment. And, of course, we're missing our families and friends. Thank you for this question.
Okay, I have a follow-up question for that. You both have children. I know you miss them very much. What do you hope your children and other children learn from what you guys are accomplishing in space right now?
Well, yeah, so this is the hardest thing we do. Flying into low Earth orbit, keeping people alive up here in this very hostile, remote environment. And what I would like children to take from that is that, they should feel challenged to do difficult things in their lives, not necessarily working in the space program, although this is a very, a great field, and I feel privileged to be part of it, but choose something that is very difficult, very challenging, work hard at it, and then be proud of yourselves when you're successful. And that's what I'd like my kids to see from this. Hey, Dad's in space for a year. This is hard. It's hard for them. It's hard for me. But he still went and did it and worked hard at it, and will hopefully achieve success when it's all over. And they can do the same in whatever they choose in their lives if they put their minds to it.
Gentlemen, we supremely appreciate the time, the opportunity to speak with you this morning down here in Jacksonville, Florida. As you zoom on by, I know we were hearing that you're around New Zealand this morning. We're going to be we'll be saluting you as you make your way past Northeast Florida the next time, and that is the coolest thing I have seen all morning long, all week on Good Morning Jackson. Thank you guys again so much for making Space Week such a wonderful thing. You have a great day up there, guys.
I know. We appreciate your sacrifice that you're making, being away from your family for so long like that.
Our pleasure.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.